Greetings, good evening. I'd like to hear for those who are joining us this evening, where you will be joining us from. My name is Dr. Charles Sinkala, President of Africa 55 States and Organization for African Political Parties. Let me start by recognizing the leadership of the University of Zambia, the universities in the African continent that has joined us this evening on this occasion. I would like to thank the fellow African people within the continent of Africa and outside Africa overseas. I would like to thank the faith-based organizations that has found time to join us this evening on such an occasion. I would like to thank the Zambian movie industries. I'd like also to thank the South African movie industries in this regard. The friends and distinguished guests present here, and the family of Frank Kasonde present here at this occasion. I thank the people of the international community to accord me such an opportunity to present the first Frank Kasonde Memorial Lecture. The story of Africa can only be traced back in the early days of the 1900s. The agitators of the independence of Zambia, and Africa in particular, was loud as a thunderstorm. That the story of Africa economic independence was clear in Nigeria as it was clear in Mozambique. The story of economic independence was clear in Zimbabwe as it was clear in Zambia. The story of independence was clear in Angola as it was clear in Ghana. The story of independence was clear in Ethiopia as it was clear in Democratic Republic of Congo, and so was it clear in the rest of the continent, and the world was well informed. In the year 1963, 32 heads of states and government met in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia to adopt an African charter which mapped the direction of Africans when the Organization of African Unity was formed. At the occasion such as that, I can hear the speech by heads of states and government, specifically the speech from Kwame Nkrumah. President Kwame Nkrumah at the time, he said he was ready to delay the independence of Ghana until Africa is free. Of the other African states as well and government who presented the speech, I can still hear the speech from many others who were so concerned about the future of Africa. The story of Africa reminds us of such an agreement made several years ago, and the mandate given to all Africans present at the time and those yet to come. The story of Africa reminds us to continue telling the story of Africa, and indeed in memory of Frank Kasonde, in whose legacy we have assembled here today. He took the story of Africa to another level when he attempted to take on a project to produce a movie on our founding father of our great nation, Zambia, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, the struggle. I can remember very vividly the young and vibrant, energetic Frank Kasonde when I first met him in the year 2017. This year was so important to me and special to me, as it is the year that I was finalizing the registration of a political party to run for office in 2021 in Zambia elections. I remember having a long conversation with Frank Kasonde. He had a problem of facilitating his Keke project. I discussed that I also had a problem in finding the 10 office bearers as required by law by the Registrar of Societies. Through the conversation and by the 4 of that evening, we reached at a decision that Frank Kasonde will be the 10th office bearer so that he can use my platform to conclude this project, and the Registrar of Society was too kind to register our party. One of the milestones we achieved together was I personally introduced him to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, where several meetings and discussions were discussed on the content and the script of the movie. As well as I didn't stop there in interacting with Frank Kasonde, as I knew that it is important that he also gets introduced to the international movie industry. I did indeed when he visited my house in South Africa, and as well as overseas to the United States of America, to have the production starts up and running. What was clear about Frank Kasonde was that he knew exactly what was his purpose. He knew exactly what he was supposed to do, and he made sure and kept the faith at all times necessary. At such a young age, Frank Kasonde seemed to me that he lived before, because during his interaction, I was so concerned and very happy that he knew exactly what we was looking for. We shared a dream of an independent democracy, a dream that one day every Zambian child shall never be on the streets without a home. We shared a dream that every child shall never be left alone without support from the government or the families. We shared a dream that every child shall have an easy road to education. We shared a dream that all Zambians shall have an equal share of opportunities and prosperity. We shared a dream with Frank that the farmers shall produce enough food for everyone. Frank Kasonde also had a dream of a better health infrastructure system, a dream of a better education system that will institute knowledge, wisdom, and self-dependence. We shared a dream of a free society, a dream of rule of law, a dream of a united political, social, and economical system that shall integrate Zambia to the dream that it was founded by our forefathers. Many of us will argue that he did not produce the movie. Yes, of course, I'm submitting to us that our purpose on earth is not to participate in light of seeing at the end of the project. However, is to contribute an ongoing project of emancipation of Zambia from dependency. Indeed, at the age of 29, Frank Kasonde has died very young. Is it possible that he came too late or too early than his time? How did he realize the importance of communicating to young men and women about the struggle of Africa through the servitude of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda movie? What gap did he realize in society so that the young people should contribute in the development of our nation? We who are engaged in the business of non-existence, the young men and women in Zambia, it is a tragedy that Frank Kasonde realized that he shall impact knowledge to teach people about the history of Zambia and to teach people about the importance of our existence as Zambians and where we should contribute. Indeed, to Frank Kasonde, this movie is very important. Many questions will remain for us to learn from a life such as this, which was cut short. To the family and friends of Frank Kasonde, this is not the time to mourn such a selfless soul and successful young man. I am submitting to us that this is a time on this occasion to celebrate his achievement. This is the time that all those who worked with Frank Kasonde, that they may continue to realize the Nobel Project, to communicate to all Zambians. This is the time that for those who helped him in life should feel happy about their contribution to his life and project. This is the time that all those who made it difficult for his life, may they learn from their mistakes and start helping one another. This is the time for government to identify such talent as this and can give opportunity to everyone who seeks such an opportunity. To the President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, may you take this opportunity to recognize such great young men and women with energy and ensure they are supported at all levels of government without prejudice. I also appeal to you, Your Excellency, to look into the safety of the infrastructure of the road system. Indeed, if this accident happened as a result of negligence, may we learn from that mistake and move forward. To the young people of Zambia, this is the time to reflect on your life and ask serious questions on how you are currently living your life. It is not too late for you to turn around and adjust to a meaningful life, especially to the betterment of Zambia. From Chingola, Kasompe, Ndola, Kansanshi, Kawe, Bwacha, Lusaka, Kanyama to Isoka, Kaperi Imposhi, Chambeshi, Kasama, Mongo, Livingston, Mwansabombwe, Kamfinsa, Kitwe, Solwezi, Mukushi, Mwenilunga, and all other places. The youths in Zambia and Africa and the world, the spirit of Frank Kasonde shall continue, and I challenge you to take on the baton to move forward. We shall be reminded of the spirit of Frank Kasonde as he contributed to the purpose of development of our areas. We too, indeed, we shall continue to focus on the development of our nation. It's not about what the government can do. It's about how can I assist the government in the development of our nation. How can I take this opportunity as a citizen of Zambia to assist the government, and where can I participate? To you, Frank Kasonde, I can safely say, as founder and president of People's Convention Independence Party, thank you for living your dream. Thank you for keeping your faith. Thank you for finishing your race. Thank you for making it possible to motivate others in the plight of your journey. May you give a full report to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. May you give a full report to Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe. May you give a report to Mainza Chona. May you give a report to Hari Mwangankumbula. May you give a report to President FTJ Chiluba. May you give a full report to President Michael Sata. May you give a full report to President Mwanawasa. May you give a report to all those who came, who fought in the struggle of our mother Zambia. And that Zambia is now in capable hands and on the right direction. We have now started paying the backlog of pensioners' benefits, farmers' payments, and give also a report that we are indeed moving forward, even if the pace is too slow. We are just delayed a little bit longer by the previous regime. And from this, with the capable hands of President Hakainde Hichilema, we shall build from those who came to preside over the governance of our country. However, we now in control. You can also report that the rule of law as it is at the center of the new Dawn government, and we have no political prisoners or unlawful detentions. These are the fundamental principles of us as Zambians and the nation, and that may your spirit, as it rests in peace, shall continue to impact the knowledge of the people of Zambia. And not only the people of Zambia, may this spirit of you as a young man who had the knowledge to think of others, to think of a purpose, to communicate to the Zambian people and to the rest of the world, that it shall be the source of inspiration for the rest of the continent. May we Zambians take this opportunity as the theme for this year, as dedication to Frank Kasonde, that we shall be the brother's keeper, we shall be the sister's keeper. We shall make sure that we hold ourselves hands in unison to work towards the building of our nation. We shall work towards the unity of our country, as it is in unity that we shall bring ourselves together in working and moving forward. As I conclude as I may on this such an occasion that I'm very grateful, I shall appeal to everybody that let's take this opportunity to recognize the efforts. I shall take also an opportunity that the bureaucratic systems in our governance in government shall be eased, as Frank Kasonde demonstrated, and many times we talked, that he mentioned that he could not move in certain ministries of government due to the bureaucratic system that prevented him of achieving his dream. May I say thank you for taking such an opportunity to listen to me. I thank you, and may God bless you all.